Hey there. Looks like we got a few folks here. I have got to ask you folks to please mute your little microphone down there at the bottom, or I will be listening to everybody at the same time, and that will make life a little bit difficult. I'm new at this webinar stuff. Kathy, can you mute yourself again for me, Kathy, please? There you go. Okay, cool. So far, I guess it's just the two of you here. I'm going to give it a few minutes before I get going, and what I'll do in the meantime is tell you how crazy the technological stuff has been. Kathy just got through telling me how professional I look, and she has no idea what the heck I've been through. Let me tell you, it's been crazy. The only thing I can think of is that some good things are going to come out of this, and so Satan doesn't want it happening. So the techno demons are giving me a rough time. It's only 6:01, and there's only two of you here. So let's see, what can I do while we're waiting to see if somebody else comes along? How about if I have a little water? And I'm going to share my screen, so we have that up and running. Oh, first I'm going to put the chat box up. Okay, I'm going to say, and see if you guys can respond, so I know this sucker's working. So now my chat box is gone. I don't understand where my chat box went. Oh, look, chat's up. It said somebody's chatting. Okay, you guys are up there now. All right, I'll just scooch off to the side here so I can see what I'm doing. This is wild and crazy. How do y'all like my screen behind me? Is that pretty cool? So what I'm going to do is take any questions at the end. In fact, at the end, I guess we don't even have to just chat. If anybody has questions, everybody could unmute and ask those questions. I was supposed to have 12 people here. I now have Terry and Kathy, and I so appreciate you guys. But I thought I'd wait a few minutes to see if somebody else could decide to join us. Let's see. What can we talk about while we're hanging out? Because this is being taped, and I would like to use it later to maybe help some folks. Let's see, what did you guys say over here? Give people some time. Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm trying to think if there's something else on my screen I could share with you while we're waiting. But if I do that, Lord only knows, I'll never get you back. So I better just hold on. Well, 6:04. How are things at work? Thank you for giving me something to talk about. I've been kind of neglecting Johnny's a bit because I've been so busy with this other stuff, but thank you, Jesus. I've got a manager helping me, and we've got a big benefit coming up this Saturday for a gal named Lisa. She worked at the hospital here in town and drew blood and was known and loved by a lot of people. And she was shot tragically. I think it's probably about a month ago. Still a lot of unanswered questions about that. So the benefit we're doing will go to help her children. She had 4 children and 2 grandchildren, and she was only 40 years old. And it's just awful. It's just awful that such a tragic thing should happen to such a young, beautiful lady. I didn't know her. My bartenders knew her, but she was just absolutely gorgeous from the person I saw. It's just really sad that that happened. Well, let's see. So what else can we talk about while we're waiting here? So I don't know. I'm not a genius at this techno stuff. I'm hoping that I wanted to leave the video up for like 5 days afterwards, after we do this, so that in case somebody, I had a few ladies actually that wanted to be here and something came up and they couldn't be here. So they were asking if they could watch a tape version. So maybe that's why some of them aren't here. But I hate to have you two just sitting around waiting for me. Wonder if I should start my spiel. If I could tell a joke or something. I used to know some good ones. Joyce Meyer has some pretty funny, clean ones, and I'm trying to think of them right now. And of course, my brain won't work because I want to tell you a funny joke. Shoot, at this point, I guess we can unmute each other and chat if we wanted. A priest and a rabbi walking a bar. Yeah, that's a good one. That's the only problem is that's the only part I know about that. I don't know how the rest of it goes. Oh, darn, I had some good ones too. One about the Baptist dog was pretty funny. Oh, geez. I guess my brain won't work because I'm a little stressed here thinking at 6:07, and I probably should just get started and roll with it. And if somebody else pops in, then relax, she says. Well, easy for you to say. Oh, Lordy. God is good. And I prayed a lot about this and prayed that the right people would be here and the right people would see it. And so I'm hoping that I'll be able to edit it when it's all done and I can just start from the beginning. But we're already at 6:07. I'm starting to think maybe I should just go ahead and start. My coach, I have a wonderful coach, and she told me her first webinar, no one showed up. So I'm 2 ahead of her, and poor thing, I can't even imagine. She just carried on and talked to herself. And she said that one person popped in and then they popped out. So I guess I've got you still, 2 of you still with me. So that's a really good thing. Well, I need to practice anyway. So we're just going to go ahead and roll with this, and we'll see if somebody else pops in. So here you are. Welcome, 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 Terry and Kathy, to my Breaking Free from Emotional Bondage webinar. I'm very excited to finally be able to do this. I've worked very hard at planning it. And like I said, I'm not a technological wizard at all. Thank God for my virtual assistant. In fact, she was going to watch today, but she is in the Philippines. Glazy is her name, and she's been a godsend because I wouldn't have this PowerPoint without her help. It's my first webinar, and it's the first time I ever used PowerPoint, and she helped me put it together. So prayerfully, you will find this informative, enlightening, and maybe even a little eye-opening. That's my prayer for y'all. So a little bit about me. I know Kathy knows a lot about me, and Terry, I'm not sure which Terry you are because I can't see your face. So I'll just do my little spiel like there's lots of people that don't know me watching. Here we go. Okay, why aren't we? Let's see. There we go. A little about me. I am a freedom coach, an author, blogger, recovering codependent, owner of Johnny's Bar and Grill for 22 years, and married to a recovering alcoholic, which makes our situation pretty special. And Tommy and I will be together 28 years in October. Yeah, that's when we met. Hello. I'm thinking of our wedding anniversary in July. We were together for 4 years before we got married, just about. And we met when I was a cocktail waitress. I have been in the bar business since I was 17 years old as a cocktail waitress. And then I managed a bar when I was 19. And so pretty much I've spent my entire life in the bar business as my adult life. So the odds of meeting alcoholic as a codependent were pretty good. And Tommy was a special guy, though. I used to pick a lot of jerks. In fact, my mom said I always picked the Sam Malone type. And I did, the narcissistic, full of themselves people. But I'd gotten a little therapy by the time Tommy came along, and I loved him to pieces. And the fact that we're still together is absolutely a miracle. I thank God for that every day. But at any rate, I wasn't talking to God when I bought the bar, and I'd always dreamed of having my own place. And in 1996, I got Johnny's, and the way that came together was just practically a miracle itself. I mean, it was amazing. The timing for an inheritance came through, and I was able to buy my dream. But the fact that I was married to an alcoholic and bought a bar was probably not the smartest thing I ever did. I believe now it was God's plan, and it's worked out wonderfully. But we had some rough things to get over. Having my own place was a dream, and the fact that I could get Tommy's alcohol at wholesale prices was something that I really was tickled about, which just tells you how silly I was. What a codependent. So in the beginning, life was good, and we just had lots of parties. We partied hard. I worked hard. We had triathlons and the Clampers Wittard Ball. We partied for everything. In fact, I even had a party for my poor husband when he had his vasectomy. We had a party down there, and I cooked some cocktail wieners and meatballs, and had a customer made a cake of a penis shape with a hatch through it. Now, definitely not walking with God back to at that time. Anytime we could have a party for anything, we did. And so business was good, and I doubled the business the first year, and things were great. But then Tommy quit his job very soon after buying the bar, which gave him way too much time to drink. He was going to start his own handyman business, and take it from me, alcoholics and addicts are not self-motivated. So probably not going to get a business up and running. So things got pretty bad with us probably within 4 years. Things were just really getting bad. And Tommy was drunk all the time. He drank a fifth of Jack and a fifth of vodka every day, besides what he drank at our bar in Whiskey Creek and Donny Esther's and all the other places around town. And I decided that if I was going home to a drunk, I certainly wasn't going to do it sober. So I started consuming copious amounts of alcohol myself. And I would go home drunk, and we'd have some knockdown dragouts. We were so cruel to each other. The things we said to each other, to this day, I'm just mortified. So it got really bad, and that's why Tommy actually asked me for a divorce in 2002. And it was quite a shock. But it was the come to Jesus I needed that got me back on the right path, which was a path with God as the center of my life. And I had the choices were pretty broad. There was the wide path, which was sit down at the bar with all the people that wanted to commiserate with me and tell me how bad I had it. And then the narrow path was the one back to Jesus, who I walked away from many years before. And luckily, I decided to take the narrow path. And God was waiting just for me to just come back in and do the right thing. And he said, if you leave your husband to me, I'll save your marriage. And he does not make promises he doesn't keep. So I buried myself in Joyce Meyer books, tapes, and all that stuff. She's very straightforward. I love her because she just tells it like it is, and that's my personality. And I got into her pretty heavily there. In fact, my husband used to call me Joyce Jr. I would leave her books open on the arm of his chair, with underlined something, hoping that he would get it, but that doesn't work. So I learned that quickly. And her codependency tape was awesome. And I'd never even heard what codependency was until I watched that tape. And it was an eye-opener for me because, boy, she described everything that I was. And what I was a hot mess. I was controlling. I was manipulative. I was I was a mess. And the problem was I had told myself that I was just so selfless and I did all these things for all these people and nobody appreciated me. And, when you get right down to it, I just needed to just shut up, do what God said, leave my husband in his hands. And he said he'd take care of things. And it took me 4 years to do that. And the biggest hurdle was having to admit that I was such a big part of the problem, because when you're with an alcoholic or an addict, it's easy to point the finger. And so when I finally shut up, that's when God turned his attention towards my husband. And he put himself in rehab, and our life has been nothing but miracles since. It's just been awesome. Faulty belief systems that we have, a lot of them, well, they come from childhood. And usually victims of abuse are easy targets for Satan. We don't feel worthy. We feel like we're bad. We don't deserve to be loved. He gets in your head and he tells you a lot of lies. And I don't know why kids do this. I was abused myself. So I was molested, actually by a doctor and also by my stepfather's brother. And I don't know why a child in your mind decides that you had to have something to do with it. Maybe it's your fault. And that faulty belief system will stick with you for a very, very long time if you don't get some help. And so if you, either you ladies were abused, I know your pain, and prayerfully you get some help from God and you move past it. And if you haven't, I'd like to help. Our parents can actually bring their faulty belief systems into our lives because of things that have happened to them. And then we go on and do it to our children, and we can be impacted for generations. And so without asking God to come in and just change your life and turn things around, I don't believe anybody stands a chance. Especially as codependents, I was taking care of the whole family. By the age of 10, I was practically raising my brothers. And so I came to believe that all my value was based on what I did and not who I was. And I always worked to make people love me. And you shouldn't have to work to make people love you. That's just not how it goes. So I don't know if you girls can relate to that. I was a perfectionist, which codependents a lot of that times become perfectionist. I thought that I was the only one who could do anything right, and it was my way or the highway. And I always took on more than I needed to take on because I felt like if I said no to somebody, they might reject me. And if they rejected me, I couldn't take that. So I would take on things that I shouldn't take on, say yes to more than I could handle. I've handled quite a lot at one time, and I'm a good multitasker, but some things a person just shouldn't do. I just wouldn't say no. And so I wound up being overburdened and stressed out and exhausted. I don't know if you girls have put yourself in that position before. I could take, Joyce tells a funny story about how she could take a simple barbecue of hot dogs and potato chips, and the next thing you know, we're having steaks and potato salad and going out and buying new lawn furniture. And that was me. Everything I did was over the top. It was always to impress people so that they would like me, because apparently deep down inside, I didn't like myself. And a lot of victims of abuse will do that. So you become a people pleaser, and you do things because you want people to like you and you want to keep everybody happy, but it will drive you absolutely out of your mind. If you don't let go and stop the insanity, you will lose your mind. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. And I can say right now that if I hadn't gotten over all that people pleasing and control crap, that I definitely would have had a heart attack or a stroke by now, because it was way too much for one person. I don't know if you girls are like that at all. If you are, feel free to tell me in the chat box there. But as I prayed about what to say to everybody today at this, a big thing came to me was that you need to know that God loves you, and he picked you out in your mother's womb. He knew you. And once you just know with every fiber of your being that he loves you and cares for you, then you can start loving yourself. And that's a big part of this, is that so many women really suffer from just no confidence. I put on big confident airs. I really did. I was as confident as they get as far as what you saw. But inside, obviously, I wasn't, because people that are confident and healthy don't put up with the kind of crap that I was putting up with. And so once I decided, okay, I got to give my life to God and let him straighten me out, leaning into him made things so much nicer. And I've met people at the bar, and I'll start to talk about Jesus because I can't help myself. And they'll tell me, I've had people tell me that God doesn't want anything to do with them because I don't know what they've done. And I would say, you're crazy. He knows what you've done and he loves you anyway. It just breaks my heart when people feel that way. So no matter what you've done, God knows and he loves you anyway. And that is a message that I definitely want to get across tonight for sure. A good example of the Lord knowing everything about you and loving you anyway was the story of the Samaritan woman at the well. And that comes from chapter 4 in John. And in that story, Jesus had been traipsing all over with his disciples and preaching, and he was exhausted, and he sent them to town to get food, and he sat down at a well. And there was a Samaritan woman there, and the Samaritans and the Jews didn't get along. The Jews looked down on the Samaritans. So not only was this woman a Samaritan, she was also a woman. And as you know, even in the Eastern countries today, women are looked down on. They're not given fair treatment, that's for sure. But Jesus asked her for a cup of water. And she was just actually shocked that this Jew would even talk to her, much less ask for water. And he starts a conversation with her by telling her to go and get her husband. Well, Jesus knows she doesn't have a husband. She says, but I'm not married. And Jesus tells her, all too true. You have had 5 husbands and aren't even married to the man you're living with now. Now, can you imagine being in her shoes? You don't know this man from Adam, and he tells you that about yourself. And he wound up doing some miracles for this woman's life too. And she found forgiveness for herself. And I'm sure that made all the difference in the world in moving forward with her life, because Jesus didn't hang around the religious folks. He hung around the ones that were needy and going down the wrong path and tried to get them on the right path. And, I was one of those people on the wrong path. I divulged quite a bit in my memoir. Some people said maybe a little too much, but I was on the wrong path, but it was ignorance. It was out of ignorance. And, Jesus cuts us slack for ignorance. So now I'm on the right path. And I pray every day that God keeps me on that path. And my desire in life is to help others to maybe get down that path faster than I did, because I suffered for a long time believing Satan's lies and being tormented by them. And there's a better life out there for you. So my heart's desire is to help you get on the right path. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I have become a freedom coach, because I want to help other people get through the hard stuff and love themselves and come to accept themselves. And I truly believe that you only understand someone's pain when you've been through what they've been through. And I know that God uses us to help others get through what they're going through, because we can take them by the hand and say, okay, I understand and I want to be there for you. And that's what I want to do, is just help others to get past their crap. And I do that in a couple of ways, as well as, coaching. I have my daily encouragements in my Facebook group. I know Kathy's in it. I'm not sure about you, Terry, but it's called Love Notes from the Lord. And if you'd like to join Terry, if you haven't already, just send me a request. I actually started out just posting scriptures on my regular personal Facebook, and it just happened by accident. One day I read a really good one, and I said, oh, I got to put that on my Facebook. Somebody's got to need that. And then the next day I put another one, and the next day. And so I just started posting these things, not thinking that anyone was even seeing them, really, never given it a thought. And then a couple of people at the bar, a man and a woman, told me how much they enjoyed my posts. So that was pretty cool. So that group is out there if you'd like to join. And another way of turning my life around and doing something to help others was to write my story in my memoir. And prayerfully, and I've got some really, really good testimonies from people that it really inspired and helped. And that just blesses me. That's why I wrote the book. I'm very pleased with that. So I also blog, and I blog about my spiritual path and my travels, and of course my cats. And right there is my little patty cakes. And right now he's actually the only baby I have, because Sassy disappeared and she hasn't come back. And so now we're a one cat family, but I'm definitely a cat woman. So you will hear about my cat in my blogs too. So I don't know where you're at in your life. If you've got some issues that are bogging you down, if you feel like you're chained down by some bondage of these faulty mindsets that can stay with us our entire life if you don't get them straightened out, I would like to help. I would like you to help get you to, if you're seeing light at the end of the tunnel, we want to get you all the way to the other side. And that's what I do with my coaching. So faulty love systems that we learn can screw us up for a very long time. And I'd like to help you get those things worked out if I can. And if you'd like to see yourself as a loved and cherished child of God that you are, I can tell you it's life transforming and fabulous. And I can help you with that. Maybe you've been wandering around in a maze of self-doubt and confusion. I know I did for a very long time. And I can honestly say that if I would have had somebody like me to help me through that time, it would have been fabulous. I did go to Al-Anon, but like I say, I went 40 miles away. I didn't have anybody right here. And that's the cool thing about the internet and this Zoom stuff. Just, it can be in another country and we can talk. So if you need anything, I'm here. And if you're ready to break free of your chains of bondage, I want to help. I'm living such a blessed life now. We're just, and I want to share that. And part of that blessing is my fabulous house that I know Kathy has been to. And I did a little video to invite folks to the retreat I've got coming up on the 30th. And it's going to be fabulous and it's free. So at this juncture, we are really going to try my technological savvy here. And I'm going to see if I can play. Let's see, now see on my side, my chat is on top of it. Let's see, will it go? Oh, nuts. Okay, I knew I was going to have some technical difficulties here somewhere. Okay, here we go. Let's try
Beautiful backyard. That's the koi pond you hear in the background. Can't really see the waterfall from here, but it's just a beautiful place that God has blessed us with. And I'm going to be having a fabulous retreat here for my ladies. I have room for about 20 gals, and we are going to get together and bond and talk about the things we'd like to get some freedom from and see if we can't just help each other out of it. Oh, I picked a pretty breezy day for this. It's that way up here sometimes. Anyway, there's lots of great bonuses for you ladies that sign up today. You have to sign up today during the webinar so that you can get these free bonuses. I talked about Joyce Meyer. She's my mentor. I've got lots of fabulous CDs and CD sets from her that will help you in so many ways. I used to listen to them all the time when I was driving. And then I went and bought a new car without a CD player. So anyway, she has been so inspirational to me, and I want to share her with you. So every lady that signs up today will have her choice of any of these CD packets. And all you ladies that sign up today are also going to get a free copy of my book, Born Again in the Biker Bar, autographed by me. And that's for you gals that sign up today while you're watching this webinar. So I want to thank you for listening to the webinar and hanging out with me. And I hope you were blessed by it. And I hope you'll come to my retreat, because it's going to be a really awesome time. I'm going to fix a fabulous lunch. Don't like to brag, but I am kind of a good cook. And we're just going to really have some great fellowship. We're going to listen to some good music and just really enjoy each other. So I hope to see you September 30th. And it's going to be at 10 o'clock for, you know what, it'll go till 2, 3, whatever. We're going to just enjoy each other and see where it takes us. So ladies, click below, sign up, and get in today to get your freebies, because there's lots of good stuff for you gals that sign up today. I look forward to seeing you. Bye.
Okay, my goodness, and I actually switched over. Wow, I'm pretty impressed with myself. So that was the video. And I think Kathy said she's going to be here. I'm excited about that. And Terry, I sure hope you join us. It's going to be cool. So God has blessed me and Tommy in ways that we could not even have fathomed. And he's just made such a great difference in our life. We just went to a fabulous marriage conference. And it was at the Old Oak Ranch up in Sonora, and it was so much fun. And we did things I never would have imagined. We did zip lining and a lot of swinging out on the rope. It was pretty crazy stuff, but a good time. We did ATVing. Kathy, I know you know Dave Westrick. I'm telling you this, our instructor, we got to shoot ARs. Our instructor looked just like Dave Westrick and talked like him in his mannerisms. It was crazy. And Kathy's been in my home. Terry, I'm here in, where am I located? Let me see if I can actually answer your question. Wow. Oh my goodness, I think I did it. In Hollister. Oh, I guess I should have said California. Where are you? Terry, can you tell us where you're from? I don't know where you're from, so I don't know if you could join us or not, but I sure hope so. Sacramento. Well, that's not that far to come. You know what? It's a long drive a little bit if you wanted to, Terry, as the person who checked in here with Kathy, I'd gladly put you up overnight if you come to the retreat. You can actually even stay over. Got a wonderful pool we can enjoy after our retreat. It'll be a lot of fun. And this, for you, Terry, this is, I don't know if you can see my mouse or not. I mean, my little arrow, that's Kathy there, and that's me. And that's my friend Sylvia. I wish she was watching tonight. And Trish. So, yeah, my house is just a wonderful place for a retreat. It's fabulous. So, guess what? There's only 2 of you here. Stay to the end tonight. So, I guess just pull a couple names out of the hat. One of you, you know what? Since there's only 2 of you here, I might as well just do this right now, because one of you is going to win the fire. And so I'm just going to write both your names. I'm going to have to put it in something, shake it up real good. And one of you is going to win this HD fire. I don't have anybody here to pull the rabbit out of the hat, but let's see, hat. Okay, you ladies stay right there. I'm going to go get a hat so I can toss this around and pick out one of your names. I think my husband has a hat right back here. Okay, hold on. All righty, I'm back. Okay, here we go. And I got to tell you, I was one of those people that said, oh, it plopped right out, so I'll use it, that I had to have a book in my hand. I did not want to read on a Kindle, but I have to tell you, I love mine. So with no further ado, Kathy, You did win. Yeah, your 50-50 chance paid off. You did win. So this fabulous HD Fire you're going to get. Congratulations, girlfriend. Yes, you don't have to keep an eye on your email for it because it's here. Thanks for trying, Terry. I'm glad you're here and you stayed with me to the end. I'm just so pleased about that. I can't tell you. At least I had the two of you here inspiring me and giving me a chance to check out the system and work out the glitches. But I have to say, I'm pretty tickled the way it went because I didn't have that many glitches, which shocks me. We'll see how the recording goes. If you ladies would like, I'm going to give you my spiel first since we're still here. I have 30-minute strategy sessions that are free, and it's just to talk about if you need prayer, if talk about what I might be able to do for you as a coach. Just sign up right there. I think you can go to it from your screen. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be able to. And if not, you just reach out to me in an email or whatever, and I will make sure that you can do that. So sign up for a free strategy session, and we'll chat and see if there's anything I can do to help you. Let's see, did I have any questions? Terry, are you interested in coming to the retreat? I would just love it if you did. Oh, I can't wait to meet you. So does that mean you are coming? Oh, I hope so. I really hope so. We're going to have a really awesome time. So ladies, since I don't have any questions. Oh, goody, Terry wants to come. You know what? Let's see. Well, good question there from Kathy. It's God speaks to me. It is what I would call an inner knowing. Peace is always a good judge when you have any question in your mind about something. If you have peace about something, you're probably going down the wrong path. And if you got that churning in your stomach, it probably means no, don't do it. I have to say, though, when Tommy told me about, when God told me my marriage would be saved, it was almost an audible voice in my head. It really was, it was fabulous. Oh, God is good. That's all I can say. God is so good. And I'm so happy he blessed me with this fabulous place that I can share with you gals. And so here we are. And I have no more questions. And do you ladies want to unmute and chat? Oh, got to run. That's right. You had to go, Kathy. Thank you for staying, pal. I sure appreciate it. It was awesome.